All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, if you're a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, then you vividly remember that playoff loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last January. In that game, the Eagles were dominated by the Bucs 32-9 in the wild card round as Philadelphia's once promising season came to a screeching halt. So, during the offseason, we saw Philly go out there and make some upgrades to try to improve this team. New offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, signing Pro Bowl running back Saquon Barkley. And after 4 games, this team is 2-2. But more importantly, if you thought that last year's wild card loss in Tampa was bad, then you know what? Today was simply the sequel. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that the Eagles were shorthanded when they took the field today. No Devonta Smith or AJ Brown at wide receiver. No Lane Johnson on the offensive line. And then in this contest, we saw Jalen Carter from that D line go out with an injury. But with all of that, Tampa just wanted it more than Philly. And I looked at today's game and it was reminiscent of last year's playoff loss. Basically, again, Tampa just wanted it more than the Eagles. You look at this game today, before you blinked, Tampa Bay was up 24 to nothing, and it could have been worse. Okay, because there was a drop touchdown pass by the Bucks midway through the second quarter that could have made it 28 to nothing. You look at it, Tampa Bay just took the opening kickoff and marched easily down the field for the 7-0 lead. Quick stop on Philly, got the ball right back, and it was Baker Mayfield once again leading a touchdown drive. Then, the muff punt by Cooper DeJean, excuse me, that there was a flag thrown as far as like kick catch interference, but then it was deemed by the officials that the gunner from the Bucks was pushed in to DeJean, which caused the fumble, and then of course the Bucks went on to recover and get another touchdown. But nonetheless, you put yourself in a 24 to nothing hole. You're short, as far as your talent that you have out there. But with that said, it's not that much that you can do for yourself when your quarterback is dropping back. Jalen Hurts was sacked today 6 times, and it seemed like a lot more. Why? Because this Bucks defensive line, they weren't bringing a lot of pressure from Todd Bowles' cover two. It was a lot of pressure from the D line. They were living in the Eagles' backfield. He was sacked 6 times, but again, it seemed like he was sacked a lot more because he was consistently under pressure all afternoon long, and that's to be understood because once you get into a deficit like the Eagles did today, you become more one-dimensional. All right, so in all, Hurts was 18 of 30 passing, a buck 58, and one touchdown throw. And of course, like I said, no AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. That changes things. Dallas Goddard was the leading receiver with 7 catches for 62 yards. But then, all of that aside, this Philadelphia defense still got it rammed down their throats to the tune of they surrendered 445 yards today, and it was a very easy 445 yards. Baker Mayfield today, 30 of 47, 347 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions. He was calm, cool, and collected back there, and he was picking that Eagles defense apart. It was a tough loss for Philadelphia after they had that gut check win last week on the road in New Orleans against the Saints. But of course, if you're Nick Sirianni, the Eagles head coach, this is not going to help the situation as far as those people that follow this team that want to see you gone. Philadelphia has a bye week. They got to get healthy and they've got to try to shore things up. But this Eagles team, the same issues that were hindering them over the second half of last season are still hindering them now. This defense really has not been there, with the exception of last week's win over the Saints. They haven't been there. They weren't there in the win over the Packers in week one. Week number two, we saw how this Eagles defense came apart and blew that home game to the Atlanta Falcons. And then again, once again today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So The bye week is coming at the right time for Philadelphia. They need to get healthy first and foremost. But the same issues that hurt this team over the last 6 weeks or so of the regular season last year, and then of course into the playoffs, have carried over now. So, what is this Eagles team going to be able to do? That's going to be very interesting because once they come out of their bye, they've got Cleveland at home. Okay, they're at the Giants, they're at the Bengals, and then they host Jacksonville before they go on the road to take on Dallas. Those are four winnable games right there. But then again, we saw the Eagles in the tail half of last year have a lot of winnable games that they lost. And again, like I said, that is carried over to this year. The way that they're playing right now, and especially the effort that they gave today, is not a good thing for Nick Sirianni. There's people out there that want to see him removed as Eagles head coach. And I'll tell you what, if the Eagles don't get their act together soon, there will be a press conference announcing parting ways with Sirianni and looking for somebody else. That's the bottom line. There's too much. I know that there's injuries, and I know that the Eagles are dealing with some of them, but there's too much talent on this team to not give the effort or lack thereof that we saw from this team today against Tampa Bay. So let's see. It's back to the drawing board for the Eagles, and let's see how this team looks in 2 weeks when they host Cleveland. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you haven't already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.